kids?
Ready.
I'm ready. As ready as I'm gonna be.
We'll call this meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A lot less enthusiastic than when the kids were here.
I know.
No, we're going downhill from the last meeting. Okay, we'll start with appointments. First on the agenda is Kathy Conway.
Hi, thank you. So I wanted to talk to you about a USDA Rural Business Development Grant that we'd like to apply for. We need the Board of Selectmen's approval to apply for it. Basically, we would be looking for $28,200 in grant funding to provide engineering services related to the development of the Littleton Commons. As part of that project, we're looking to construct a pavilion for the Littleton's farmers market, as well as some ice hockey. Also, we're looking to clean up the parking. It's kind of, here and there, and so we want to make it more strategic parking to not only support the events that happen on that side of the river, but also, tour buses and other things for the Main Street businesses. So this program is really about, as the name says, business development and assisting small businesses. So like I said, we'd be looking for $28,200 for engineering, and there's a $10,000 match that would come from previously allocated funds from the town. I can answer any questions or provide some more detail. That's kind of a broad overview of what we're looking to do.
I just have one quick question, just because you said ice hockey is actually, you mean like ice skating or actually ice hockey?
I mean, a skating rink.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, that's the same parcel of land that we talked about for a previous grant application as
Yeah, I
well.
just hadn't heard hockey before, so
Skating.
I think, rather than make Kathy stay here through the whole meeting, given what's going on outside, we will take, with your approval, public comment on this now so we can vote, rather than make her wait. Is that okay?
fine with me.
Is there any other public comment or questions about this grant application? There being none, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
I guess we'll second it. We don't have to make the actual motion. Okay, second.
To support the application.
Yeah.
Is there any conversation? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then you've got pages to sign, do you want? Those are for them, and this is for you. They're authorizing you to sign. So there's a bunch of things in there. You can send it to me tomorrow, if that works better for you.
You don't want to take these with you?
Can I take those with you?
We're ready as fast as we can.
Okay.
Next on the agenda, while we're signing these, Brian Patinode's up from the transfer station. Brian?
I'm gonna sign
On
something.
Saturday is our annual cleanup day, the roadside trash pickup day. Last year we did it, and we got about 50 participants, and it was raining. So we're hoping for at least 75 to 100 people, hopefully this year. It's going to start at 9 o'clock with about 15-20 minute safety briefing. And then we're hoping this year to have teams to go out, do some of the fields and the areas in town that really need it. But people are always welcome to do their own roads and stuff like that. Then lunch will be served around 12:30 at Remington Park. The New Hampshire, the beautiful trash bags will be located at Remington Park in the morning.
So Runner Park's your staging area?
Staging area, yeah. And they'll be also located at the transfer station like they are throughout the year. There's going to be a clothing drive at the library also. That's the first time we're doing it this year, so hopefully we'll gather some for that. So we're looking just for people to come and help pick up the roads in Littleton. So, we are going to have donations this year for giveaways and stuff like that. Like so far, we have them from the Littleton Toy Store, top of the town, for Fido's, plus a couple other places. I'm working on more.
Good. Do you need anything from us other than our best wishes?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Barbecues at 1:30?
About 12:30.
12:30?
12:30.
Yeah.
12:30.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's start 8:15 or 9:15?
9:15 is the cleanup. 9 a.m. is going to be kind of the safety
Okay.
meeting.
And the date again?
This coming Saturday.
No, there's no date on that.
Yeah.
Brian, the clothing drive at the library too, what time are they going to start collecting?
It shows right on there. It's 9:30 to 4.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Kathy. Next, we have a town manager's report, which is, among other things perhaps, his quarterly financial review.
Yes. So each of you have in your packet, we put it up here on the screen, and Karen's going to go over any highlights, and then we can respond to any questions that you have, or if the public has any questions. Karen, you want to?
Okay. As of March 30th, 2018, I'm just going to do a short review. The motor vehicles collections up to that date is $346,966. The same time last year, the collections were $326,301. So we are up on the collections of the motor vehicles. The general fund revenues, park recreation revenues, are usually something that is behind a little bit at the beginning of the year. The general fund revenues, most of those come in at the end of the year, like our rooms and meals tax. The Parks and Recreation, of course, has to get off the ground and do their summer programming, which I know they're preparing for. The Opera House currently is at 32, they've collected 32.5%. They should be at 25%, so they've done an excellent job at going out and getting additional renters in that building and also for use of the venues. Transfer station currently is 20%. We looked back to see what there might be, and there is a little less collections on some of the different categories, and that is also subject to the market. So if the market's down, we're going to collect a little bit less. Sewer users, the billing just went out on this. So the funds that you see here, the 0.6% of the budgeted amount, is items that we billed out for septic haulers. The actual sewer user billing just went out this month. So next month you'll see a big chunk come in. Outside detail, that is at 34% of the budgeted amount. So they have been doing some activity, but that can go up and down. That is a outside budget activity, and this is one where whatever they collect gets paid out, and whatever's left at the end of the year could be used next year for safety equipment. Parking meters, that's slightly down. We see during the summer months, as people start coming in, tourists start coming in, we see that bump up. So that's usually down for January and February. Expenditures,
Before we leave revenues, can I ask a question on a couple? So the motor vehicle registration and fees is up from last year, $20,000. Do you know if that is from additional registrations, or have there been increases in rates for registration?
No increase in rates.
So it's been additional registrations?
registration.
Okay, and the transfer station is 14,000 behind last year. Is that primarily due to market?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Especially the fiber market.
Okay.
Cardboard, for an example. We ship out a load every 3 weeks, and we're getting $100 less per ton.
Okay.
And paper, a year ago, this month, we were getting close to $100 a ton. This last load, we actually had to pay to recycle.
Okay. Glass stays on site? Does glass stay on site?
Yep.
Okay, so
It
the
actually-
huge drop in glass hasn't affected us at all?
No.
Okay.
It gets crushed up and used around the town.
Okay.
So on to the expenditures. The total should be that they've used about 25% of their budget. We do have some offices that work in other departments that the adjustments have to be done on those quarterly. Executive offices is one. They also cover some of their expenditures through the sewer program, so that needs to be adjusted out. Elections is slightly up. They're at 30%, a little over 30%. That has to do with new staff coming on, elections. So there has been a kind of an overlap of a full-time employee for a month because of new staff.
Yeah, well, you had an election in the first quarter, and you don't have one in the second.
Right.
Yep.
Tax collecting is pretty close to being on. The financial administration, again, there's some adjustments that need to come out of that and go to the sewer fund. But that is, the other thing that you need to remember in some of these new, our health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance is billed ahead. So in March, we're paying for April. So we have January, February, March, and April billing built into the expenses.
But that's the same thing as last year, right? So we're
Yes.
comparing apples to apples. Okay.
Assessing is under 25%. Legal is under 25%. Personnel administration right now is 72%. We had the workers' comp bill that we paid out for the whole entire year. So that expense hits hard all at once. Planning and zoning is 23.8%. General government buildings, 20%. Cemeteries, 22%. Town insurances is 9%. We have not got the bill for our property liability. We won't get that till June. Advertising, regional association, 74%. This is where town meeting is factored in. We also have the community center that we pay out a lump sum to, so there's a couple different things in there. The general government, there hasn't been any bills received on that yet. Police department is 22.75%. Dispatch is 26%. The bill came in slightly higher than what we expected, just so you're aware. Ambulance is 32%. This is one that's billed ahead. Fire department's 23.55. Public Works is 28.07. Highway department's 37.86. Majority of this is overtime because of the snowstorms that we've had, the ice storms. We've had a lot of overtime. Bridges and sidewalks, nothing's been paid out on that. Street lighting hydrants is 14%. Animal control hasn't had anything paid out on it yet. Welfare is 21%. Patriotic purposes hasn't had anything paid out on it yet. Conservation Commission is 57.5%. We had a license that was due for the year. Transfer station recycling is 19.64%. So the general operating expenditures is 26.92. Library is 24.53. Parks and Rec, their expenditures right now is 15.07%. So they're under because of the seasonal. Yet debt service is 36.93. We have different debt payments that are due different times of the year. So you may have a big chunk of them in January and in June. You may have a big chunk of them in July and December. We try to set them up so they're semi-annual. We do have a few that are monthly. Opera House, the expenditure's at 24.7%. Special detail is 25.25. Parking meters is at 23.66%. I know that we have a payment for the parking lot out of this, so that's been paid in advance. The sewer users operating account is 16.28%, and that will jump up as we get through the year. So the total of the whole town budget is 26.56%.
Pretty good. Same as with Kathy, in the interest of not keeping people here any longer than they have to. Are there any questions for Karen? Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Do you need board approval to accept it or anything?
Never have.
It's just a report, right?
Yeah, support.
FYI, thank you, Karen. Do you have anything else, Andrew?
I don't. I've been off for a bit of time and really trying to catch up with everything right now, so I don't have
It's okay,
too
good,
much in the way to give you.
good. We tried not to bother you too much, too.
Yeah, thank you.
I have nothing under old business. Under new business, Tom Alt, cemetery lot fee increase.
You probably all know that, if you don't, I'm gonna let you know now, there are 3 burying cemeteries in town right now. We bury at Wheeler Hill, which is a town-owned cemetery. We also bury at St. Rose and we bury at Glenwood. So, in order to try to maintain some kind of fiscal green color from year to year, we need to adjust our fees every once in a while. And we don't, the only sources of income we really have is selling grave lots and burial services. And so it is a simpler bookkeeping process, and it's simpler for people to make a choice where they want to buy a grave lot if the prices are even across the board. So what we do generally, what it amounts to is if we adjust our prices about 2% per year, just to try to maintain some kind of levelness of whatever the other costs are doing to maintain the operation. So what we're here today to propose to the selectmen and the town manager is, if you would agree, as we adjust our rates at Glenwood and at St. Rose, if we could use that same rate adjustment at Wheeler Hill. We probably vary 40 to 50 a year, and of that, I would guess 5, 6, 7 of those burials may be at Wheeler Hill. So it's not a big number, but it would be helpful to maintain that tradition. We've done this for decades, pretty much, but and basically we felt like the town has relied on us to just pretty much carry on with managing Wheeler Hill as we do with the other 2, and if we come up with a problem, at that point, come and present it to you, but usually things run quite smoothly. Just for your information, the town does own 6 cemeteries. Wheeler Hill is the only one that is presently modern enough and has good enough records for us to be able to continue burials. And if you know a little bit of town history, when the Moore Dam went in and they had to remove the town of Pattonville, the Pattonville Cemetery inhabitants were moved to Wheeler Hill. So if you travel other areas of town, you may go up on Man's Hill, you'll find one on Man's Hill, you'll find one on Broomstick. There's one that everyone drives by down on the meadow, next to where the Cumberland Times is going in. There's one out in Monroe Road, just past the pit stop store. And there are two on the North Littleton Road, there's Wheeler Hill, and then further out, there's one called Carpenter Cemetery. Those other 5 are not, I won't say they're in a state of disrepair, because we do give them maintenance every year, but town records really don't exist that allow us to know where burials may have taken place in all instances. So they're pretty much just historical. And I will tell you, there's one other cemetery that the town owns, I think the town owns it. So 6 town cemeteries, St. Rose Cemetery, Glenwood Cemetery, and the Horse Cemetery. Which not too many towns can say they have a horse cemetery. Out by Mount Vistas Road. So that's my request.
We have the schedule of the increases. Do you have any questions for Tom?
Just a couple. I don't, admittedly, I have very little experience or knowledge of costs of lots. My experience is not from around here. These fees seem very reasonable. How do we compare with the area? I mean, are they? I mean, is there room to?
We're high.
We are high. Okay.
Yeah, there's a big difference. There are very few privately owned cemetery corporations anymore. Glenwood Cemetery Corporation was started in 1895. And we run on a bare bones budget. We're not able to offer the kind of benefits that a town employee would get and so forth. But we continue to operate, but we need still some kind of a budget structure to be able to exist. So we run on about $150,000 a year. 80,000 comes from the town. And we get about $25,000 in burials throughout the year. We rent our services out to St. Rose, so there's another 20. So when you describe a not-for-profit organization, that's us. We're right on the line, under or over every year. Most of the cemeteries are totally town-owned. They either have full-time or part-time sextons, and the whole town population supports the financial structure of that through their tax base. So it's quite subsidized. As far as, someone went to Elizabeth and they would find out, well, you can put a cremation in the ground for $150 and we're $450. But we're still trying to run it as a private business. I don't know who will be sitting in these chairs and who will be standing here at some point that will tell you that, as Elizabeth did not too long ago, the cemetery corporation finally dissolved and handed the keys to the town.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. I don't think the town wants to do that either at this point, but realistically speaking, as time goes by, I think you're going to see that happen. The average age of our board is, just figured it out, 71. And the youngest one of that is our sexton, who is 66. So, I think the writing is on the wall, but
Yeah.
did you have another question?
Yeah, the only other question I had is, I noticed a couple of things didn't change. Is there a reason why some changed and some
I
didn't?
think, like we would have to rent a compressor for frozen ground in the wintertime.
Okay.
2% or 4% of that isn't enough to bother with the change.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah. I'm waiting for you to ask, how come a cremation lot costs more than a single grave lot?
Go ahead.
How come a cremation lot costs more?
So if we go back far enough in time, everything was a full burial. You dug a hole, quote unquote, 6 feet deep, and you put a casket in it, and that was it, and nothing ever could go in that space again. Cremations have become very common now. When we read our burial schedule each month, probably, if there were 10 burials, probably 8 of them are cremations. And so we've set up special cremation sections, both at Glenwood and at St. Rose. And if you buy a cremation lot, even though it's a little more money, you can put 4 cremations in that one lot. Whereas with a single grade lot, you put one casket in the ground and you're done.
So you get 4 for 1.
So you get 4 for 1.
It's less per person.
We'd be more than happy for any of the selectmen and town managers to come down sometime and we could give you more detail. But
Dig a hole for us.
well, if you're looking to buy a lot, you'll see that if you buy it before July 15th, you're,
Get the old prices.
yeah, there you go. All right, that's my presentation.
Any other questions? So again, so Tom doesn't have to stay here. I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the new rates as enumerated on the form provided to us.
Second?
Is there any discussion, any comment from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, next is the White Mountain Regional Airport. They wanted a support letter. In your paperwork, you'll see that Mr. Ernstberger wanted me to write the letter, and I explained that it had to come from us. All the material is there. Actually, maybe Andrew, you, for the sake of the public, want to go through this for us?
Sure. You want me to read the letter, just kind of speak to it a little bit?
I'd speak to it.
Okay, so the Airport Commission is attempting to put some new fuel storage into the airport. If you remember, during the Budget Committee discussions from this past year and the year before that, they had a goal to try to find other ways to support the airport and also provide some more accountability to the town as to who's coming in and out. This is a step in that direction. This is a project that will create a dual fuel farm that'll provide additional opportunities for their airport to bring in some revenue, not just from fuel cells, but also from potential new users of the airport. So.
And in this letter, you can see, just supports this application. I would entertain a motion to allow me to sign this letter.
Make a motion to authorize Skylar to sign on behalf of the board, the letter for the White Mountain Regional Airport Commission.
Second?
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Give me a second while I sign this. Okay, next are our committee, board, and commission appointments. And we will read these. The first is the town/school budget committee. We have 4 3-year terms. I'd like to move to appoint Steve Kelly, Diane Cummings, Chris Sweeney, and Joanne Melanson to the Town School Budget Committee for 3-year terms. Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I think I'm next.
I said carried.
Oh,
You are next, Franco.
stop saying carried. The next one is the Opera House Management Commission. 1 3-year term and 1 3-year term for an alternate for a period of 3 years. I make a motion to appoint George Mischel as a full voting member for a 3-year term and Don Merrill as the alternate member to the Opera House Management Commission, both for 3-year terms.
Is there a second?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next is a Conservation Commission. It's a 3-year terms. Motion to appoint Tom Alt, Mary Belanger, and Roger Merrill to the Littleton Conservation Commission for 3-year terms.
Is Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
For the planning board, we have 2 3-year terms, one ex officio and one alternate 1-year term. Motion to appoint Linda McNeil and Tony Alacqua to 3-year terms, to appoint Milt Bratz as an alternate for a 1-year term, and further to appoint Franco Rossi as the ex officio member of the Board of Selectmen to the planning board. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Franco.
Oh, yeah. Zoning Board, 2 3-year terms, one alternate 2-year term. I make a motion to appoint Jim McMahon as a full voting member and Guy Harriman as an alternate to the Zoning Board for 3-year terms, and further to appoint Eddie Moore as an alternate for a 2-year term.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Water and Light Commission, 1 3-year term. Motion to appoint Skylar Sweet to the Water and Light Board of Commissioners for a 3-year term.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Energy Conservation Commission, 2 3-year terms. Motion to appoint Ron Bolt and Bob O'Connor to the Energy Conservation Committee for 3-year terms. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. River District Redevelopment Commission, 3 3-year terms, 1 3-year term as the Conservation Commission representative, 1 2-year term to be appointed to, with the director of the board of the Chamber of Commerce. Boy, I'm a tongue-tied. So I make a motion to appoint John Hennessy, Chad Stearns, and Nicholas Hayden for 3-year terms on the River District Redevelopment Commission. Further, to appoint Mary Boulanger as the Conservation Commission representative for a 3-year term, and Nathan Carroll for a 2-year term as the Chamber of Commerce representative.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The Littleton Dog Park Committee. The Littleton Dog Park Committee is still accepting self-nominations to join the committee. Residency is not a requirement. No one has requested appointment. The committee is recruiting on their own. No appointments are required at this time. The Cultural Arts and Advisory Commission, motion to appoint Janice Kirk, Jason Torres, and Doug Evelyn for 1-year terms, and Andrew Ledestri, Jennifer Fulford, and Sue Pelot for 2-year terms, and Victoria Cole, Megan Carr, and Jennifer Donovan, and Chad Fillion for all 3-year terms, and to the Cultural Arts Advisory Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Last is the Pemmy Baker Solid Waste District. Motion to appoint Brian Patino as a voting member and Andrew Dorset as an alternate for 3-year terms to the Pemmy Baker Solid Waste District. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That concludes the appointments. Down the agenda, we are down to public comment. Is there any public comment?
I would like to know about the letter that David said you guys, what he wants. He wants money from us, what he wants.
Well-
About that letter that you just read for the airport. For the airport, what David wants from us,
They wanted a letter of support for an application
for an application.
Yes.
On what? Application for what?
to bring jet fuel to the airport. They're trying to get grant money to do it
Why did they ask us from Littleton when the airport?
because we're a member of their commission. So they want support from the selectmen.
All it is a letter saying the selectmen support them doing it. It's not,
Just us or the seller?
they're requesting it from all the towns.
For all the town, you mean the 4 towns that pay for the airport?
They're requesting it from all the member towns.
Right.
It's just a letter of support.
No money involved.
No.
When this guy asks us all the time, and people from Littleton. When this guy always asking for the people from Littleton to get involved.
Because we're part of it, we're a member of it.
Oh, because you're a member.
The town is a member.
Oh, okay. Well,
Linda, you had a question?
I had one question. As chair of the planning board, I wondered why you have not appointed yourself as an ex officio member of the planning board yet.
Because Franco said he'd take it. And as you might be able to guess, I'm a little busy.
I just wanted to put you on the spot, Skylar, that's all.
That's actually is the truth, because of the water and light situation and being chair of the select board. Franco graciously bailed me out of that.
I do look forward to having Franco on there as an ex officio.
He also told me he had a real interest in dealing with the planning board and learning.
Good. I'm sure he'll be able to teach us a lot, too.
You'll find him a good student.
the cemetery committee asking for 2 or 4% increase.
It was 2%.
Oh, 4%, good.
2%.
No, it's 4%, 2% per year from the last increase. A total of 4%.
Yeah.
They didn't get one last year. Anybody else? Any other public comment?
I just add that we have a lot of construction happening this year, and there's going to be a couple of meetings this week, one tonight, one on Wednesday. I'm not sure if this will air in time for that, but we're going to be planning out communication and a schedule for construction for Saranac and Lucic Mill and the Sub 5 project. In addition, we have Foster Hill Road, which will be coming up as well. So.
We also are planning for presentations by the town manager on a couple issues that are constant moving targets, and he's just going to bring us up to date. One is our solid waste district and what it's doing and how it's doing, and the other is a update or summary of all the projects and grant applications and so forth going on in town. I know one of those will be at our next meeting, maybe both, but if not, the second one will stretch out to the following meeting. But I'm gonna, just for everybody's edification, Andrew's gonna bring us up to date on those items, which include ourselves. I meet with Andrew weekly, and you guys don't get to, and it's still confusing.
There's a lot happening.
Well, speaking of confusing, there's so many things going on. I don't remember which acronym covers this, but the project is, I think it's a TAP project that does the sidewalks up Cottage Street and all that. We had one public hearing on that already. When's the next one? Do you know?
I believe we're going to do.
Is it not scheduled yet?
Well, so what we did was a local concerns meeting at the senior center, and that really was for all of the abutters to the project to be able to have input.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a few areas within the project, for example, Mill Street, that's going to require a lot of extra attention. And there's a few property owners that will require, they have some special needs. And so we're going to have meetings specifically with them.
Okay.
And right now, that project is really in the planning phases. And I do have a timeline. I think I showed it at the last select board meeting.
But someone just asked me about it.
Yeah,
There's not really a general public
meeting. Probably it won't be for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's scheduled yet, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Right now, we're really just working with property owners
Okay.
in the DOT.
Okay, I believe we're adjourned. Are we not? Thank you. We do have a personnel issue to discuss in non-public. So we will do that as soon as the room is
Motion to go
cleared
into
up.
non-public?
So I need a motion to go into non-public.
So moved.
Please indicate by roll call vote.
Franco Rossi, aye.
Carrie Gendro, aye.
Skylar Sweet, aye.